Hey, good evening, my friends. How are you? Welcome to another edition of Wednesday Night Live with me, Mike Avery, here in my home office, the home studio, whatever you want to call it, the place where I do most of my work. Glad to have you along with us tonight. Randy, good evening, buddy. How are you? Cliff, always a pleasure. Sean, thanks for showing back up. You were with us this morning. I do appreciate that. There's Craig. He had a busy day, but he said he would join us tonight, and there he is. Captain Jim, where'd you go, buddy? There's Jim right there. Good evening, Cap. Right back at you. Paul, always a pleasure. Thanks for joining me, Mike Avery, on this edition of Wednesday Night Live. Dave is with us as well. Dave, good evening, buddy. How are you? Johnny Bowler, the Bear Whisperer, who is back at work now trying to make money to restore the family funds that he blew in Vegas. Uncle Johnny's with us, including Rylan and Peyton. Ry, Patey. Hi, it's Uncle Mike. How are you? Hope you guys had a good day. Mad Jack, thank you. Martin, Paul, Brian, good evening, buddy. How are you? Johnny's laughing at me. Randy, I am Murray. Thanks for joining us. James is with us as well. Jim's with us as well. Mike Sills, Michigan outdoorsman, got into some nice perch through the ice this weekend, some nice gills and a few crappies today. All through the ice, Mike? Is there still some ice out there? Ed says he saw 4 does today. George made it out fishing. They're still out there from Algonac. Good evening, Terrence. How are you? I do not recognize your name. Thank you for joining me on this edition of Wednesday Night Live. Good evening, Ricky. Adam. Hey, Steve. How you doing, buddy? My fellow Trinity brother. Lee, good evening. How are you? And again, thank you for joining me on Wednesday Night Live. Actually, the last Wednesday Night Live of 2024. Now, why is that? It's only the 18th of December. Well, in case you haven't noticed, 1 week from today is Christmas. I'm not doing a Wednesday Night Live on Christmas, and you don't want to be here to watch it either. The following week, Wednesday, is New Year's Day. I don't want to do a Wednesday Night Live on New Year's Day, and you don't want to watch it either. So as a result, the next time we see each other will be in 2025. Now, I'm still doing a radio show. 2 radio shows, one for this week and next. I'm not missing any radio shows. But the online stuff, the streaming stuff, the Wednesday Night Live stuff, and the behind the mic stuff, not until 2025 now. George, right back at you. Merry Christmas to you, buddy. Captain Jim says, how's Bean doing? My newest grandson, Bean, also named Bodie Lynn, is doing great. In fact, he's being baptized at our church, Trinity Monitor, on Christmas Eve. How cool is that? He's being baptized on Christmas Eve, just like his mother, my daughter, Shelby, was baptized a long time ago on Christmas Eve. So it's pretty cool. We're looking forward to that. Johnny says he's taking down payments on bear hunts. Johnny, how can you take down payments on bear hunts if we haven't even applied for a bear hunt yet? Ryan, good evening. How are you? Jerry says there's still fish out there. Evening, Terrence, if I didn't say hello earlier. Ricky, Adam, how goes my recovery? I am 100% recovered from my stroke. No ill effects. Scott Gatza said a bunch of us are watching in Iowa. You might have seen on my Facebook page, my buddy Scott Gatza shot a 160-inch monster out there today. I just posted it on my Facebook, and he says him and a bunch of his buddies are out there watching me in Iowa. Scott, once again, congrats on a beautiful buck. Anyway, Adam, my stroke recovery is absolutely complete, 100%, no residual effects, nothing wrong at all. However, I am going back into the hospital Friday to get a hole in my heart repaired. The docs are quite sure that hole is actually what caused my strokes, plural, because I found out I've had more than one now. And 25% of the population has these holes. You're born with them, but they close up as you're growing. Mine did not. So I'm going to go in Friday, get it fixed, get it closed. I will stay in the hospital Friday night, but I will be home Saturday in time to watch the Ferris State Bulldogs win a National Division II football championship. So, Adam, thanks for asking. Steve, always a pleasure, buddy. How have you been? Lee, thank you. Tim, another Steve, good evening. Larry, how are things in your world? Robert, good evening. Jeff, good evening. Cliff said he saw folks ice fishing on the east bay of Houghton Lake. I know one of those guys. Johnny says, I'll be keeping in touch. When do tickets go on sale for our Trinity Monitor Wild Game Dinner and Auction, which is Saturday, March 1st? It will be after the first of the year. That's all I can tell you. I don't know anymore because I don't know more. But believe me, you folks, my friends, will be among the first to know when those tickets go on sale. I promise. George, good evening. How are you? Ooh, Scott got a big 8-point on Friday the 13th. Sunday shot a 14-point. Lost it. The dog couldn't find it. The sun shot a buck Sunday night. And you guys are on fire. I have not seen a deer during the firearm season. In fact, if I want to kill another doe, I might have to sneak out to Scott Gatz's place. Hey, that's a good idea. While he's in Iowa, I'm going to sneak out to his place and shoot one of his does. Mad Jack, good evening, buddy. How are you? Yeah, wasn't that a nice buck Scott got? Good evening to you, Paul. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Hey, Deb, how are you? She's not working on Christmas and New Year. I'm not working. Well, no, I'm not working Christmas and I'm not working New Year's. Jenny says, come on, help me. Hey, Randy, how you doing, buddy? Scott says, go ahead. Randy says, good luck on your surgery. It's not really a surgery. It's just a procedure. I'm not worried about it at all. It's very routine. Although I guess when they go in and fix a hole in your heart, how routine can it be? But no, it's very routine. And Randy, I don't know if you had a chance to watch. No, you said you didn't. I watched the game last Saturday from Top Taggart Field, and it was very, very cool. Now they're playing Saturday. They're playing against, who are they playing? They played Slippery Rock, Pennsylvania last Saturday. This Saturday, they're playing, I can't tell you who. I've got a mental block, but they're playing in Texas for the Division II National Championship. Go Dogs. What was that? That was interesting. Hey, Jim, nice to see you tonight as well. Joe's back. Pastor Joe, I love baptisms on Christmas and Easter. It just seems like the right thing to do, doesn't it, Joe? I mean, Pastor, sorry. And I did see your comment, your response to me this morning after I was busting your chops a little bit. Feeling is mutual, right back at you. Sounds like Johnny needs more money than was lost in Vegas. Johnny needs money because he wants to go back to Vegas. Because here's what happened. I'll tell you the truth. This is the truth, right? I wouldn't lie to you. Johnny got out there. Johnny Bowler, my good friend, the Bear Whisperer. He got out to Vegas. He had a bunch of money with him. He had a bunch of money that he got from bear hunters, including 10 grand from me. But I understand he was charging other hunters more than that. So he gets out there. I don't know how many tens of thousands he's got in his pocket. But he gets out there and he loses it, like right away. So he finds a loan shark. And the loan shark says, I will give you some money, but you know how that works. You got to pay the money and the interest, right? So Johnny skipped town before he could pay off the loan shark, and they're looking for him. So the reason Johnny Bowler needs money now is he's going back to Vegas and try to find this guy to pay him off before they break his legs. I wouldn't tell it. I wouldn't tell you a story. Of course, that's true. Randy, Michigan, well, you say Michigan made ham. Is it a Michigan brand ham? Just bought your first one and going to have it for Christmas. We have a Michigan brand ham at every holiday here at the Avery house. And I'm going to go out and buy one. Listen, Nick Grillo is a very generous guy. He says, Mike, don't buy them. We'll give them to you. I don't want you to give them to me, Nick. Although I will take it, Nick, when you give me packages of like smoked beef. This one happens to be hot honey peach. Today in the studio, we were eating pineapple jalapeno. Scott Gatza says, and you can say that with a clear conscience. All right, that may not be entirely true about Johnny, but a lot of it's true. I mean, some of it's true. I mean, part of it could be true. Well, I mean, all right. Well, none of it's true. Yeah, we're gonna have Michigan brand ham here too, and tonight we're gonna give away our last ham for the holidays. Nick Grillo will be on here in a little bit, and he will pick. If he's not on here now, he will pick tonight's winner. And just so you know, I'm going for a new record tonight. I think I can let it all out without stroking out tonight. So I'm gonna do that. Dave, good evening, Merry Christmas to you. Jeremy watching from Southern Iowa. Are you out there with Scott Gatza? About time for some rabbit hunting. Indeed, it is, Lee. Thank you, George. I am a very fast healer. I am blessed by God that the stroke didn't have any permanent effects, and I'm not worried about this procedure at all. They say that once I get this done, my risk of having another stroke is minimal. So why not, eh? Mike, good evening, buddy. How are you? Ricky, go Dogs. Jen Bins, Merry Christmas to you and Denise. Thank you, my lovely wife Denise. Also very excited about your grandson being baptized on Christmas Eve. It is nice, and technically, Jen, I appreciate what you're saying. It's not a surgery; it's only a procedure. Even though they're going into my heart, it's not a surgery. I'll be fine. Thank you, though. Thank you, Jerry. Appreciate that. Good evening, Ed Bolanowski. How you doing, buddy? Thank you, Bill. Appreciate that so much. Tim, good evening. Gene, how are you? Hey, Mike. Hey, Mark. Always a pleasure to have you along with us. Mark's one of the good guys. I don't think so. Terry, formerly of Shingleton, now of Hemlock. How you doing, buddy? Thanks for joining me. Glad to be here, Tom. Glad to have you. Brian Krause. Now, Brian is a very, very good, very well-known elk guide, and the December elk season is going on in Michigan right now. Brian sent me a picture of one of his hunters who shot a big cow, and I think Brian doesn't take many hunters. Brian says, elk hunt update as of yesterday. Listen to this: 26 bulls, 46 cows, 4 calves of the 160 tags for the December hunt. Thank you, Brian. Appreciate that. I appreciate it, Lee. Scott, good evening. Scott Hand, who has 13 more days to retirement. Well, who's counting? Let me ask you this, Scott. How did you end up going out like the first week in January? Why didn't you just go out at the 1st of January? I'm sure there's a reason. But congratulations, my friend, and good luck to you. I will never know what retirement looks like. Because I don't want to. This is my job. Why would I want to retire? Thank you, Bill. Hey, Tommy, always a pleasure. How you doing? Kevin Prophet. What style Brenton do I recommend, the fixed or the adjustable stock? Kevin, I recommend the adjustable because it fits more people. Like, for example, if a kid or a young person or a small person or a lady wants to borrow your gun, you can adjust the stock. That's what I did. Like when my grandson Carter was using it to take a doe at Scott Gatz's place, we shortened the stock up. Then when I use it, I take it all the way out. I like the adjustable. I'm going to get here so you can see my pretty face. Troy says his son shot a giant 10-point last night with his bow, only the second daytime encounter in the last 2 years of this buck, 4.5 or 5.5 years old. Wow. There are a lot of big bucks being shot on food plots in Southwest Michigan. Good luck, Ferris State. They are in Hillsdale today for a basketball game. Just celebrated Uncle Ted's 76th birthday with him at his house in Texas on Friday, the 13th. Happy holidays from the Sandy family. Ted was on the thank you, Troy. I appreciate that. Um, I haven't seen a deer since the firearm season. Ted was on the show just last week. Um, Always a pleasure to have Ted on. Some people love him and some people don't love him, and Ted's okay with that. Jim says to Scott, "You won't." It is Valdosta. Thank you, Ed. Go Bulldogs. Tom is an '88 alum. You know when I graduated, Tom? Valdosta State. I graduated in '80. Matt Shock. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to your family as well. Brian, good evening, buddy. I am doing very well. Thank you. Ferris playing Valdosta State. Thank you, everybody. Ed Rutherford, Captain Ed Rutherford, the longest active charter boat captain on the Great Lakes that we know of. Ed's been out there more than 50 years, half a century, and he's only 45 years old. So I don't know how he did it. Michigan brand Happy Ham. We're going to give one away here in about 10 minutes. I see Nick Grillo is with us. Oh, Paul says there is some truth to what I said because he did go to Vegas. So it wasn't a complete lie. Nick, I tried some of the hot honey peach this morning. It was still a little too hot for my taste. That's what this is, the hot honey peach. This morning in the studio, we had, help me out, Nick, the jalapeno. But what's the word in front of the jalapeno? I just don't have it in front of me. And it was pretty warm. And then we had is it honey teriyaki, Nick? And I'll be honest, is it honey teriyaki? No, it's something else teriyaki. I'm not a huge fan of teriyaki, but the stuff we had in the studio this morning was outstanding. And Nick, congrats again to you for shooting that big buck during the gun season. And also, I'm going to be posting some pictures with your permission, Nick, Friday of you guys, the Grillo guys, perch fishing with Bob Hines of Central Coast Angling. I definitely have that Avery storytelling ability. My cousin Deb, who's known me for my entire life, I can't argue with that. Bruce, good evening. Elmer, how are things in Petoskey? Mike says, Nick Grillo, I want you to listen to this. Mike says he's having a hard time finding the Avery sticks. I will tell you this. Every store I go into, I look and see if they have Michigan brand products. And boy, a lot of them do. I mean, a lot of them do. And then I start looking, Nick Grillo, for those Avery sticks, and I don't necessarily see them everywhere. So is it that the bloom is off that rose and we should come up with another product? Or are we just not stocking the stores with the Mike Avery Hunter sticks? Just asking for a friend. His name is Mike Avery. Sam, good evening. Sam says, Sam, good friend of mine, used to work at Jay's. I'm feeling great. I really am, Sam. I'm 100% recovered, and thank you, George, for that. I appreciate it. Jerry checking in for an Adirondacks. All is well. Good evening, Ross. Now, when Ross puts dinner in the oven, it's about this big, right? This is what Ross eats these days. If he puts dinner in the oven, he's going to put something that big, and that's going to be 3 meals for him because he's going to waste away to nothing. Tom says, love the Nugent segment last weekend. Love listening to that man. Passion is limitless. He is extremely passionate, knowledgeable, articulate, dedicated, persuasive. I have, unlike you, Tom, I mean, was it you, Tom, that was at his house? No, it was a different guy who was at Nugent's house last weekend for his birthday. I don't know Ted well enough to get invited to his house for his birthday, but I do have his phone number, and he said, call anytime. Dan, good evening. How are you? Bruce, good evening. Hello, Bill. Bill Horton says, Merry Christmas from Horton Charters. Right back at you, Bill. Still time to get your Pure Michigan entry. Yes, there is, till the 31st. Tim says, going to be taking down my blinds and the camera's going to come off state land on the 29th. I got a blind I want to get down. Let me see. Let me see if I can do something real quickly here. I don't know if I can. But speaking of that and state land and blinds and all this other stuff. I don't have time to do it. I wish I would have thought of this ahead of time because it's something I go back and forth with. There we go. Let me see if I can do this. Add to photos. Little photos. Let me just see there we go. Here's a guy. File, export. Bear with me here just a second. Desktop. Now, I don't know what this is, though, what picture this is. So let me just see. Images. 3136. Okay, let me see if I can do something here. 3136. No, I'm not going to. I'm sorry. I should have done this ahead of time. Anyway, it's the picture of a guy walking by one of our trail cameras on our lease property adjacent to state land. And this is the same guy we think who is giving my granddaughter Addison some grief on opening day. My son James actually went looking for this guy. I went along with him, and I think the guy's lucky James didn't find him because when you threaten somebody's daughter, whatever you get is what you deserve. I'm looking at a picture of him right now. The guy's walking by the camera, and he's looking at the camera, and he's flipping it off. Now, why? What have we done to you, Mr. Dirtbag? I don't know. Anyway, I'll keep moving along here. Tim says, absolutely adjustable stock on any AR. Uncle Ted was fired up. He's always fired up. Chris, how are things in Kansas? There's Nick right here. Jay Sporting Goods in Clare, all forward gas stations, a whole bunch of west side of the Michigan. If you're looking for a specific city, email Mike, please, and I give you a list of places. Thank you. I don't know if that answers my question, Nick, about why there aren't the Mike Avery Hunter sticks everywhere. In 2 minutes, we will open the contest for this week's Ham for the Holidays, the final one of 2024. Ooh, hoo, hoo, hoo. 8-point, 21-inch spread, personal best. The whole hunting adventure with friends was just as important. Amen, Bill. Dave says he actually had more spare time when he was working 70 hours a week. I hear that from a lot of my retired buddies. Ohio Bigfoot researchers. Good evening. How are you? George, Mick, hello from the Yoop, Otto. With bird flu being in the news lately, why doesn't the DNR ban the use of bird feeders? Just saying. Want to say here before company gets here for dinner, may you have a very Merry Christmas to you and your family. Right back at you, my good friend, Ross Elliott. 1 minute, and we're going to give away a Michigan brand ham. Now, don't start your comments yet. Most of you know this by now, but just a reminder. When I give you the sign to start, then you can start posting comments about why you want to win a Michigan brand ham. If you have won this year at all, I'm going to rephrase that. If you have ever won, please don't enter because we want as many people as possible to enjoy their Michigan brand hams. And please don't say you're going to give it to a needy family because that's a wonderful thing to do, but it's very hard to overlook. So you have 2 minutes starting right now. 2 minutes to make your comments on why you want to win a Michigan brand ham for teriyaki pineapple. That's the one. And I'm not a big fan of teriyaki, Mike or Nick, and I'm not a big fan of pineapple, but I love them both. The honey jalapeno beef jalapeno. My daughter-in-law says jalapeno as a joke, and ever since then, that's what I keep saying, jalapeno. Thank you. All right. Why do you want to win a Michigan brand ham for the holidays? Martin says he loves them. Kevin says to help his golf game. I've seen Kevin play golf. He doesn't need a lot of help. Cliff wants a ham. Uncle Johnny wants a ham. We hope you pick our fam for the ham for a great Christmas meal. Merry Christmas to all from Uncle Johnny. Jeff wants one. Dave wants one. Mark wants to win one. Erica wants to win one. Scott wants to win one. Jerry wants to win one. Ohio Bigfoot Researchers wants to win one. You got about 35. No, you got about a minute left. Everybody wants to win a Michigan brand ham. You know what? They are excellent. They're absolutely wonderful. Everybody wants to win a Michigan brand ham. 30 seconds. And you can see I'm not looking at a clock at all. Is somebody going to time me here? Everybody wants to win a Michigan brand ham. You know why? Because they're outstanding. We will have one here at the Avery family. We're not going to win one. I'm going to go get one. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You know why I had to stop? Because I was starting to drool. Because I was starting to think about a Michigan brand ham. And I honestly started to salivate. And it was like it was going to come out of my mouth. It was going to fall out of my mouth. Oh. So I know it wasn't the long 22.2, 2266. You know, that's not bad considering 2273, 2270. That's not too bad considering, hey, I'm still recovering from a stroke. I'm an old guy who stroked out. So you got to give me some grief. John Callison, who is the official scorer. John, what's my record, by the way? John Callison says 26 seconds. I am going to set a new record when it comes to Easter as we give away one for Easter. My record's pretty impressive. Just couldn't pull it off tonight. I was really hoping to get it done tonight, but I just couldn't do it. Let's see who Nick's going to pick here. Nick Grillo of Michigan Brand Meats, MichiganBrand.net, MichiganBrand.net. Yeah, okay, John, I appreciate it. John's looking for my record. I think he texted it to me. Waiting to hear from Nick Grillo. Nick is one of the nicest guys you're ever going to meet, and he is a hardcore hunter and a hardcore angler. Well, I got like 100 watching right here now. Have to start training. Still waiting to hear. And I tell you, Tim, I mean, you don't have to point that out, right? Because my numbers are not what a lot of YouTubers' numbers are. Now it's 104. I'm not a YouTuber. So if Nick posted the winner, I haven't seen it. Posted the winner, I haven't seen it yet. Johnny Bowler, the guy who went to Vegas, and I'm going to tell you, Johnny lost $43,000 in Vegas. Okay. He lost 43. He borrowed 15 more from the loan shark. He only repaid like $500 or $600 of the 15 grand that he borrowed from the loan shark. The loan shark, whose name is Slugs Malone. His name is Slugs Malone. He actually reached out to me because he knows I know Johnny. I'm not going to tell this Vegas loan shark, where Johnny Bowler is. So Johnny's trying to raise money so he can get back to Vegas. He can pay off the loan shark and not get his legs busted. Tom Tomlinson is tonight's winner. Oh my gosh, 42.9 seconds is the current record. There's no way I could have done that tonight. Tom Tomlinson, Thomas Tomlinson is tonight's winner. Congrats, Tom. You are the winner of the last ham for the holidays for 2024. That's a pretty big deal. That's a pretty big deal. So congrats to you. Tom, if you would either send me a private message here on Facebook or whatever with your shipping address, I will get it out to Nick right away. Or Nick's on here tonight too. You can private message him and send your shipping address directly to Nick Grillo, and he will get that ham out for you. Now, Nick, I would think at this point, maybe they'll have it by Christmas. I know that I think that would probably be Nick's goal. I can't promise anything, but Nick is very, very good at getting these out. Also, if you didn't win a ham tonight, don't worry about it. You can still have a ham for Christmas or for New Year's. Just go to the store and buy one. I go to Jack's. I buy my Michigan brand hams, or go to the website, although you're getting kind of late to get one for Christmas. But if you do go to that website, michiganbrand.net, that's michiganbrand.net, use the promo code Mike20, you can get 20% off your entire order. Nick Grillo and the Grillo family, wonderful people. Nick, appreciate your generosity. And you don't even have to worry about the next 2 weeks, because next week is Christmas and the following week is New Year's, and we're not going to be doing Wednesday Night Live. So Nick Grillo, Michigan Brand Meats, michiganbrand.net. Tom Tomlinson is tonight's winner. So congrats. And thank you once again, Nick Grillo. You are salt of the earth. Appreciate that so very much. Okay, let's talk a little bit about who is on this week's, well, some topics, and then who's on the show. I'm going through my list. When I go into a radio show, I have a list of talking points, and this is actually my list right here. The first thing I talked about was Vance. Vance is on the show. Stumbled onto a big 6x6 tonight, walked him right in front of the hunter probably 6 times. Poor guy missed 2 times. Try tomorrow. Oh, Vance, you can only do what you can do, right? Vance is on the radio show, and I'm going to tell you who else is on the show here shortly, but Vance Gull. I talked about the weather roller coaster. The temperatures are just up and down, up and down, up and down. The interesting thing is, have you thought about this? Starting this weekend, the days are going to start getting longer. After this weekend, the days are going to start getting longer. And I, for one, cannot wait, because you get these overcast days. It doesn't get fully light until 9 o'clock. It starts to get dark at 3:30 in the afternoon. It leaves you about 6 hours of daylight. I can't wait till the days start getting longer. I think my deer hunting for the season is probably over because honestly, we have not seen a deer in daylight on our lease property for days, probably a couple of weeks now. Any activity we have out there now is after dark. I understand that. Deer have been hunted hard now for weeks and weeks and months, and I don't blame them. I would go first day of summer, December 21st. I would go nocturnal too if somebody was hunting me that hard. I am going to go out there probably and get rid of the wraith. I told you about the problem we've had with that guy hunting on state land. I'm not sure what his problem is with us, because we're not doing anything. We haven't encroached on his property, even though he's hunting on state land. We have the complete right to go over and hunt state land, but we haven't, because we've got private land that we lease that's right there. But for some reason, he's hugging that fence line, and he's giving us grief, and he's flipping off the camera, and he bothered my granddaughter, which is inexcusable. Early ice. There is some early ice in Michigan. I don't know if it's still out there now, but as of the weekend, there were people out on the ice. The Pure Michigan Hunt. Do I have sad? I don't think I have sad. I think I have happy. Paul has a big doe coming in daylight. Thank God. The deer are nocturnal for most people, myself included. And I don't blame them. The Pure Michigan Hunt. You have until the end of the month to apply. It's $5 a chance. And the Pure Michigan Hunt winner, and here's what I'm really interested in. I will never get a Michigan elk tag through the lottery, but I will get a Michigan elk tag when I win the Pure Michigan Hunt because I am going to win the Pure Michigan Hunt. I've already decided that while I'm still here on this earth, I am going to win the Pure Michigan Hunt and I am going to get the bull tag and I'm going to hunt with Vance Gowell and I'm going to go out there and I'm going to kill a big bull. Pure Michigan Hunt applications. I'll take the bull tag. I will take the any season, any area bear tag, and you guys can have the rest of it. That's all I want. And I am going to win. Truck trolley. I want to talk about some promos here before I get to this week's rundown. Truck trolley is the removable slide out bed liner that will fit in just about any truck. It is lightweight yet strong. It is not permanently affixed. It's not screwed in or drilled in. It's held in with straps. So if you need to take it out and carry mulch or stone or whatever, you can. It allows you to have access to the entire bed of your truck. You just slide it out. You can use it for hunting equipment. You can use it for fishing equipment. In the summertime, you can use it for golf equipment. You can use it for groceries. You can use it for Christmas presents. You can use it for so many different things. Right now, through the end of the year, if you go to trucktrolley.com, the website trucktrolley.com, and use the promo code Avery10, you can get 10% off, plus free shipping. And if you live close enough to Andy Weiss of Truck Trolley, he'll come out and install it in your truck. Trucktrolley.com, use the promo code Avery10. Doug Ward, hey Cap, just put a truck trolley in his truck, and he said he loves it. Trucktrolley.com, promo code Avery10. Rapid River Knives, promo code Avery10. You can't have this knife. You can't even have one like this because there's only one like this in the world, and this one's mine. But if you go to the website, rapidriverknifeworks.com, or go to the showroom, use the promo code Avery10, you get 10% off. Also, I was talking about Michigan Brand. If you go to their website, michiganbrand.net, use a promo code Mike20, you get 20% off. Plus, there is a store locator button there that you put in your zip code and it'll tell you all the stores around. Somebody said, Craig says, turn his picture over to the DNR. Sounds like hunter harassment. I'm not sure it rises to the level of hunter harassment, except for opening day, and we can't prove that. But he does indeed need a lesson in sportsmanship. I wish I could just show you. Maybe somebody knows him. Maybe if I embarrassed him publicly, he'd knock it off. Probably not. Okay, I told you, but he's not trespassing. He's not on our property. He's not. He's on state land. He has not come over to our property. He's just harassing us while we hunt on our property. I'm dry tonight. Thirsty. Troy says, and Troy's the friend of Ted Nugent. He says, come to Hillsdale. You can shoot a doe 99% of the evenings. I've only been skunked once. I'll put you in a great stand or a blind on private land. I just had Chris Kobach, who is the state attorney general, here hunting early October. Kansas state attorney general. That's interesting, Troy, that the Kansas state attorney general would come to Michigan to hunt whitetails. It's usually just the opposite. Well, Lee, I can tell you this. Had my son James found him opening day, there would have been some violence because you don't harass and threaten a 17-year-old girl who is legally in a tree stand hunting on her family's leased property with her dad and grandpa and brother also hunting on that leased property. You don't do that and get away with it if you get caught. Okay, now let's talk about who's on the Outdoor Magazine radio show this weekend. Bob Hines, Central Coast Angling, is my first guest. Bob is out chasing Wintertime or late season, open water jumbo perch. And by jumbo, I mean perch up to 15 inches. He was out the other day and the smallest fish they got was 8, and he considers that a small fish, 15 inches. The Grillo guys put several 15 inches in the boat. He's my first guest. CentralCoastAngling.com for Bob Hines. Then Dan Cook, the newest member of the Michigan Wildlife Council and their Here for Generations campaign. That website, hereformioutdoors.org. Hour number 2, we're going to talk a little trapping. I have much respect for trappers. I think trappers are the most knowledgeable outdoorsmen and women in the outdoors, and here's why. If you are gun hunting and you see a deer 100 yards away, you can shoot it. If you're bow hunting and you see a deer 30 yards away, you can shoot it. But if you're a trapper, you have to get a critter to go in a specific area. You have to get them to swim through something like this or step in something like this, a trap this size. It takes a tremendous amount of skill to get a wild animal to do that. So Joe Valsensky is the president of the Michigan Trappers and Predator Callers Association. Then Tyler Mihai talks about MUCC's most recent Kansas. Chris says Kansas has little bucks. Chris is living in Kansas. He doesn't want you to come to Kansas. Tyler talks about a fundraiser by MUCC. They have Super Bowl tickets. Now, to enter this contest, the tickets are $100, but the winner gets 2 tickets to the Super Bowl, 3 nights in a hotel room, and airfare down to New Orleans. Now, this is especially interesting this year because even though the Lions lost last week, it's not inconceivable that they could be in the Super Bowl. Wouldn't that be cool? Go to mucc.org or mucc.org/Super Bowl to get those tickets. This week's Ask Avery question is sent to me by a friend of mine named Victor. He said, Mike, it's getting to be the end of the year. It's time for a retrospection, to be retrospective. He said, you just went through a health scare, probably makes you think about some things. He said, do you have any regrets in your life, things you would have done differently? And I'll tell you right now, and I said this on the air, the biggest regret that I have in my life is that I did not serve in the military. I did not step up. I should have. When I was of the age to sign up, it was right after Vietnam, so it wasn't the cool thing to do. Now, that's not a good excuse. It is a factor, but it's not an excuse. I had just missed the draft. I was just young enough that I didn't have to worry about getting drafted. Biggest regret is I did not sign up. Chris's daughter goes to Hilldale College, and he was there for 4 days. He invited me to hunt his land in Kansas, and Toby Nugent and I were talking about going down next bow season. My invite to you to hunt here is sincere. Troy, I appreciate that. I really do. Thank you. Appreciate that very much. Emil Rousseau says Amy Trotter from MUCC is one of his favorite guests. Speaking of Emil, Forward Corporation, Lumberjack Restaurant, we will go back there for another Wednesday Night Live. And also, I'm now working with the West Branch Visitors Bureau to promote that part of the state, and happy to do so. And then finally, hour number 3, Vance Gowell joins me to talk about elk hunting in Michigan. This guy is one of the best. And we wrap it all up with wild game chef extraordinaire, Dixie Dave Miner. And I came in right on time. How cool is that? One final thought before I let you go, because we're not going to talk again before Christmas. And we're actually not going to talk again before the new year. But let me talk about Christmas very quickly. I understand that we need to celebrate Christmas by having Santa Claus and Rudolph and reindeer and Christmas trees and all that stuff. And there's nothing wrong with that. I get that completely. I think it's wonderful. The kids enjoy it. But can I just remind you real quickly about what Christmas is all about? I'll be honest, this was a very interesting year for me. Between some family health problems, a new grandson that came early, a stroke, some ongoing health issues, it was a challenging year, and I got through this year because I have faith. I have faith because Jesus was born and later died, but my faith comes because Jesus was born. That's why we celebrate Christmas. We don't celebrate Christmas so we can have Santa Claus come down the chimney. So I would ask you, as you celebrate this Christmas season and you get together with your family and with your friends, just
Oh, my Avery, master of the wild, your stories and laughter keep us beguiled. Every fish that you catch, every heart you embrace brings us closer to nature's grace.
all right, my friends, my name is Mike Avery. This is Wednesday Night Live, the last one for 2024. My show is called Outdoor Magazine. My website is MikeAveryOutdoors.com. My email address is Mike@MikeAveryOutdoors.com. Love to hear from you. Thanks for joining me so much. Thanks for making this a great year. Merry Christmas to you and your family, and may God bless you and your family. MikeAveryOutdoors.com, MikeAveryOutdoors.com.